Hi boys and girls, it's SOLSKJAER back with another video. This evening, going to cover Manchester United's squad selection for the Spurs game. But before we crack on with that, just wishing you all a good weekend. Been a bloody tough one this week, but we've grafted, we've got through it. So yeah, it's all about having a good time now. But anyway, squad selector. I'm using Read Man United, readmanunited.com. You can find this online. I'll put the link to the website in the description. It's probably a smart play on words. I mean, I'm guessing it's pronounced Read Man United, but obviously Read, same spelling as Red, and Red Man United, obviously for the colour of Man United, in case any of you are struggling to figure that out. So yeah, looking at the team selection, the reason why I'm doing this style of video this time around is I think it's quite apt at the moment, just because we've been been struggling under Solskjaer this season, and then it sort of culminated in the disaster class against Liverpool, where we just, like I say, it wasn't even though that Liverpool didn't really have to get out of second gear, I would say. It was all very, very too easy. Gaps everywhere, and I think any kind of decent, well-managed squad worth their salt would score goals against us, and that's proved the case a lot of the time. So I believe there's going to be a reaction, and I believe there needs to be a bit more forward thinking in team selection. The issue at the moment I have, and the reason why I think Solskjaer will ultimately get sacked, is it's not down to personnel, it's down to what he's asking, or what the sort of, like I say, the management by committee is asking the players to do in terms of their pressing game, and in terms of when to drop deep. It seems a bit like of a scattergun approach. So as much as we're going to have a bit of fun here and just decide maybe who will get the axe and who will get some game time, maybe who Solskjaer thinks has completely let him down in that Liverpool game, who will be the scapegoats. Remember, Pogba got sent off for a straight red, so that'll be at the very least, I would imagine, a 2-game ban. So yeah, he's not in contention for my team selection here today. Okay, so let's begin here. This is a bit of a weird formation, actually. Let me just fiddle with this, just because we don't play that really. I mean, maybe Solskjaer will think of a change of formation. If we're leaking so many goals at the back, I mean, Spurs, usually not a team. I know they scored like 4 against Newcastle, but so did we, and we're a struggling outfit as well. They're not a team that historically, just especially under Nuno Santo, are going to bag a load of goals. So I mean, it may be a case that we'd be all right with our standard formation, but maybe this is a situation, a chance to maybe revert to a back 5 or try something a bit different. And I actually think a change of formation, if he's not got time to coach a better identity in terms of, like I say, the way we attack as a team and defend as a team at the moment, then certainly playing deeper, playing a bit more like we did last season, would be an effective way to go at this stage. So when you decide your team, like I say, link in the description, have a bit of fun with this. You might want to change, go 5 at the back or something like that, but I'm going to try and base this off our standard formation and see who could be moulded into it, and like I say, who get the axe based on the horror show, which was last week. So yeah, 4-3-3. I mean, it's more of a 4-2-1-3, isn't it? Do they have that down here? Maybe we will go for a 4-2-3-1, actually. Yeah, it is a bit more like that. I mean, obviously, the way that we press, let's be honest, the left winger, the right winger, they're all up here. Bruno's up here. There's a complete separation down here, so it does look strange actually seeing them in their correct positions. It's hard to look at. But yeah, let's crack on. So, I mean, like I said, David De Gea has been our best player this season. Made a world-class save for that Liverpool game, not at fault for any of the goals, and so will retain his place quite easily. this is for me the first one I think who might get rotated out. Maybe give not only a rest, but why not give Alex Tellers game time on the basis that, like I say, I think Shaw got exposed as the player that made a lot of those mistakes, and as I mentioned in my previous video covering that game, it was more the fact that because our team shape was all over the place, it ended up with him being the player that was left isolated as the sort of final part of the defence, which then sort of made it look like he wasn't covering a player or something like that as he tried to tuck in and cover sort of the gaps that had been left behind. So I do think he's sort of drawn the short straw here, but a lot of the goals came down this side, so I could easily see Alex Tellers getting a nod here. Right back, I mean, I thought Wan-Bissaka was pretty terrible. I don't think Dalot will come in though, because as much as Wan-Bissaka was poor, Dalot is just defensively even worse than Wan-Bissaka. So on the basis that we're leaking goals horrifically at the moment, I think we're going to go for a bit of a workhorse mentality and people that are really going to sort of dig deep for the shirt here. So I think he'll stick Wan-Bissaka and just obviously tell him to be a bit more, less offensive minded in the way he sort of approaches pressing, the way he sort of approaches going down the right. Centre back, I believe Rafael Varane is still out. If we just take a look here, I believe he's still out. Bit of a laughable way of trying to find out, isn't it, this? But to be honest, I just like the way Fantasy Premier League looks. It's quite easy. So oh, he's back. Yeah, surely going to come straight in. Yeah, that might improve Maguire, which maybe means that Shaw might stay in. If we're going to scapegoat it a bit more and be a bit more controversial in the way we approach this, I do think then, Varane might get the nod here. Where's number 19 on here? There he is. And then, yeah, maybe Lindelof. Maybe Lindelof gets to go here. Keeps it up. He wasn't great either. I felt, even though the Maguire-Shaw incident was particularly bad, it was more the right-hand side that I felt exposed the left more, especially for the majority of those goals. The one goal I thought there was very little that could have been done was the fifth goal where Salah scored about 5 minutes into the second half, where Henderson's pass was just ridiculous. That was like the goal of the game, and I thought where even if we were playing well, we might have been carved open by that, because that was a spectacularly good goal. Sticking with Maguire. So this will be the defence. And then we have the midfield. Oh, this is so difficult. I mean, I mentioned, and I don't want to come across as a Fred McTominay apologist or something. I don't know, what have you. But I feel Fred is important to us. I just think, obviously, it's just the way we're being utilised as a setup at the moment, and that's why I just don't think Solskjaer's going to last much longer, because I could easily see us getting beaten here. And Son and Kane and Moore in particular as well, the way he breaks through midfield will just sniff out opportunities in those gaps. The way Tielemans did against us for Leicester, and also the way from a Liverpool perspective, the way Keita was getting through, he was just sort of breaking right through us, those kind of forward runs. And obviously what that does is, our attackers, they don't track those runners. McTominay and Fred are being asked to do too much defensively in terms of who they cover left and right, especially if Wan-Bissaka just goes on a marauding press inexplicably. So because of that, I feel like I say that obviously we know their shortcomings with the way they play and their passing ability, and sometimes particularly McTominay's positional sense. But you can't deny that I think it's been exposed more by the way we're playing as a collective and our formation. And the way obviously Pogba came on, just got sent off straight away. I reckon if Matic was playing, even if Van der Beek was playing, whoever you feel sorry for, you think should have been starting in that double pivot. Until we get the setup correct, they're all going to look terrible, and that is the reality here. So, but I think there'll be a change. Whether Van der Beek should get a go, or whether he'll give him a go, I don't believe so. I still don't think he trusts him. But that's why I do think there might be a change up from McTominay. We might be in for a bit of a weird double pivot here. I'm going to go Fred, and I think he's going to go Matic, and we'll try another pivot that we haven't seen so far this season, if my memory serves me. Maybe in the Leicester game briefly. But yeah, moving on to the attack. I think we've got to make changes up front. This is where it gets difficult. I think he's going to go Sancho on the right, get him in. I thought, obviously he didn't start that Liverpool game. Him and Rafael Varane in particular, and Cavani to some extent as well. Tellez, who I've put in here, they don't need to worry about it really. It's one of those things. It's a bit like when Rio Ferdinand got injured in the World Cup back in 2010. Which one was the Capella one? I think it was 2010. And we were terrible. Obviously, there was loads of mistakes. We played crap football, and Ferdinand obviously looked fine because he was injured. Wasn't a part of it. And sometimes, you get away with it, don't you, when you're not included. Sancho to start on the right, I believe. I think he'll stick with Rashford on the left. I do think. Like I said, I just don't think he trusts Van der Beek. I do think Bruno is still gonna get the. Oh, maybe he goes Ronaldo, Cavani actually. That have more of a focal point maybe, but I would still stick with Bruno. I think he works hard enough. You just got to coach him properly. He's a bit like a headless chicken sometimes, at least in those games where I think it gets really exposed. He wants to press and go, and if you don't do it as a collective, he looks like a moron because he goes flying forward and then there's just gaps everywhere. So I think he'll retain his place. I think it's Ronaldo who's surely going to get benched in this game. I think Greenwood will get a rest, so I think we're going to start with Cavani. So that's my prediction. What I would go with to begin with. Let's say this is what I think Solskjaer is going to do in terms of the setup at the weekend. Hopefully that works. David De Gea in net. We've got Tellez, Maguire, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Fred and Matic, Sancho, Bruno and Rashford, and then Cavani up front. So obviously the big names that miss out would be Shaw gets axed, and McTominay gets axed as well for Matic, and Ronaldo. So I feel like Shaw, McTominay and Ronaldo are the three that might sort of get scapegoated for that performance there. Now just sort of a last sort of bonus 5 minutes. What I would actually do with the formation, I'm going to mess around with this now and just see if we can do something a little bit different. Personally, the way I would set up, like I said, I would like to play maybe a 5 at the back. I'm thinking more just 3-5-2. Yeah. I'd stick Maguire in the middle of this, and no, I wouldn't. I'd keep him out left. I'd have Varane in the middle, and I would go obviously with Wan-Bissaka on the kind of right centre back, because I made a video about this for England. I think actually this is long term could be his strongest position. Doesn't get dragged out positionally as much, can stay sort of compact with his centre backs, but also if we end up sort of getting broken through the lines at any stage. Wan-Bissaka and Varane in this formation both can use their recovery pace to get back in. So that's obviously going to be really, really useful in this kind of formation. So yeah, I'd have something like that, and just move these back so they're a little bit more easily distinguished. I mean, I think Telles would work beautifully in this formation, but I think taking some of the defensive responsibility away from Shaw, I mean, I still trust Shaw. I just think it's about recapturing a bit of form. Yeah, like I said, maybe Telles should come in. I wouldn't blame any of you if you agreed with that, and I think Telles would really suit this formation. But this is why I just think if Conte might not be a popular choice, but in terms of what personnel we've got, that might be an effective system for us, if we're being honest. I still think, I don't understand why Solskjaer did it a few times last season. The season before that as well, briefly as well. Teams like against PSG, and it works a treat. You need to have a little bit more tactical sense, horses for courses, and really set up like that. And I just don't see why more teams can't alternate between two formations. It's not that difficult to learn two formations, in my opinion. So yeah, this right hand side, I don't see a problem of having Delo here. Could be a chance for him to get some game time, actually. Yeah, I have no problem with setting up like that. Now, you need a workhorse in here. This is what I mean. I think just having... You've got the defensive cover here, but just having Fred cover Blades of Grass here would be useful. And because of this is where you could get Pogba and Bruno in the team, I think. But in terms of forward runners, I don't see why you can't get Van der Beek and Bruno. Both in the formation like this. And up front, I'd have Greenwood. And I would also have this one. See, with a formation like this, you could probably get away with having Ronaldo, and also you'd have it like you played a bit like with you at Juventus when players like Mandzukic and other players. Was Morata there as well? I think certainly in the later seasons with Ronaldo. Having a second person up front, he's used to playing that. Someone with a bit of legs, but it's also near him all the time, so he doesn't get isolated and he can link up. And that's how, if you're going to play Ronaldo and sort of get the best from his, take the rewards you get from Ronaldo in terms of his scoring record, then there needs to be a body near him to A, link up, and A, obviously do the dirty work and work hard. And yeah, having Greenwood. Maybe Cavani as well, could easily see that, but I'd like someone as dynamic as Greenwood could go left and right of Ronaldo, use both feet, not incapable of pressing as well, and it takes away the sort of deep defensive responsibility that he has on the wing. So yeah, in this situation, I would probably just put Ronaldo in as this is a way you could get him in the team, and then maybe he gets more like this, and Greenwood's going sort of over either side like that. Sometimes offering the width that he knows he can do on the right, could also do it on the left the way he score against Leeds. He offers this width here and allows Bruno and Van der Beek to just power straight through. Shaw, Delo can always tuck in like this. It provides a lot of versatility, this formation. The fact that you can get Van der Beek and Bruno in the same team in this type of formation as well, I think could be really effective. The way they could just join into the midfield like this, is absolutely fine as well. Both got legs, both got desire to cover grass. And then, as a way of super subbing it, this is where I think Sancho could be really effective. Van der Beek finally gets some game time. You maybe take him off after 60 minutes. Sancho goes into one of these positions, can just go anywhere he wants, positionally a little bit more. And then, like I say, maybe you could then change one of the strikers. Greenwood obviously loses a bit his legs. Rashford could come on in those positions and do the same job. Cavani for Ronaldo. I just think it provides a bit of versatility. Obviously, takes away a bit of the wing play, but this is, in terms of Dallow's only strength is to get up and down. He has a bit of a trick here. I still think he needs to improve his crossing. So if the one other way you could probably do this is, you could obviously move maybe Shaw in here, get Tellez out on this side, and then obviously, like I mentioned, get Wan-Bissaka out here, and then just get Lindelof in there is the way I would also play it too. But yes, do you agree with that? Maybe that's an interesting take. What will your formations be? Who do you think is going to get the axe for tomorrow? How do you think the game will go, and ultimately do you think Solskjaer will get the sack, in the next week? Have your say in it. Throw that in the comments. I'll have a read. And yeah, cheers for listening. Have a great weekend. And yeah, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.